Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 27th of January 2020, so yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Monday's afternoon session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay guys, I hope you can hear me okay. And it seems that I'm experiencing a few issues with the sound, but basically guys, okay, let me just quickly recap on this one. I do apologize for the loss of the sound here. So yep, thank you very much for notifying me here. But basically, long story short guys, for now, we are seeing this one drifting a little bit lower. Looking at the cash index right now, we can see that the index is already below the psychological 9,000 zone, and it's currently moving towards this other medium-term upside support line. First, of course, we managed to break this short-term upside line taken from the low of the 3rd of December. Now, like I said, now it's going to be the turn to see of what if this medium-term upside line can actually do the trick and hold the price from dropping lower. So basically, for now guys, our main target is going to be this medium-term upside line. If it holds, wonderful, good news for the bulls. We could see this one reversing and pushing back to the upside, but again, at the moment, at this point in time, like I said, be very careful. Again, like I said, we are below the psychological 9,000 level, and in a way, this could lead to a deeper correction to the downside. So for now, all eyes are on this, so that's why we're going to just look at this from the short-term perspective. For now, like I said, we are going to be aiming for this medium-term upside support line taken from the low of the 3rd of October. After that, if the selling is still strong and we see a nice good break and let's say ideally a daily close below this line, then well, I mean, this could drift further south. But for now, let's keep it short and simple. For now, all eyes are on this upside line. In case this decides to not travel towards this medium-term upside line and reverses back to the upside, this we will consider the upside again if we get a push back above this barrier right here straight away near the 9,080 zone. So if we get a push above this, this would also place the price back above the 21 EMA, and in a way more buyers could see this as an opportunity to step in again. So that's why we can get rid of this upside line, the short-term upside line, and yep, keep an eye on some of these levels. So for now, all eyes are on the on this one right here, the 8,952 territory, roughly around here, which is the low of the 10th of January. And then yes, like I said, further declines toward this medium-term upside line could be possible. Anyway, spent too much time on Nasdaq, but let's jump into silver now. So the same as gold, this morning I talked about gold, and I showed you that it managed to push higher on the, of course, on the whole equity weakness right now, and the same story is with silver. So silver is also seen as a somewhat of a safe haven, and we're seeing a nice bunch push here, jump, I would wanted to say, above the upper bound of the little range that we saw silver trading in. So that was roughly between the 17.65 and the 18.15. Of course, given the fact that we managed to break nicely to the upside here, and today the commodity continues to balance above this barrier here, the 18.15. Of course, all this creates this nice positive atmosphere for a further possible move to the upside. Now, the levels that we're targeting here right now are going to be the 18.50 and the 18.63, which is the high of the 8th of January. Of course, above that we do have the high of the 7th of January, or in other words, the highest point of January. Now that's roughly around the 18.85 zone. But again, for now, guys, what you could do here is keep your eyes on the 18.15. If we see a nice a close here above this, then well, I mean, this of course increases the chances for a further drift higher. But if it suddenly, let's say, drops back below the 18.15 zone, now this is all this territory once again for us will be somewhat of a neutral one. For us to get comfortable with the downside, ideally a drop below the 17.65 level would be needed. So that's why, guys, for now, keep your eyes on the 18.15 and the 17.65 on the for the downside. AUDJPY. Now, this one's quite interesting as well, and actually, let me just get rid of all the drawings here very quickly, and basically you can see straight away that what's happening here. So the pair is forming, well, some might say it's a double top here, but it's a wouldn't really focus on this idea too much. But of course, the important fact is that it is now trying to break this key area of support. And let me just quickly put this one on the chart. So it already managed to do that, but the big question here is, can it stay below this? Now, don't get me wrong, on the shorter time frame we are quite overstretched to the downside, so in a way this area could be a perfect one for a small maybe rebound back to the upside. But if the rebound doesn't happen, if we see a nice daily close, this is a 4-hour chart, by the way, but if we see a nice daily close below this area, then well, I mean, further declines are possible, and the next level that we're going to be aiming for will be the low of the 14th of November near the 73.34. For now, all eyes are, like I said, all eyes are on this 73.74 level. if it holds, because for now you can see that, and looking at the 4-hour candles of today, we can see that we do get these breaks, but it's still struggling to close the body below this. So that's why we're going to continue observing this one. If it stays above the 73.74, we may consider a possible correction here a little bit. The only thing is that be very careful with that correction, because we do have this, of course, this short-term, a bit of a tentative one, downside resistance line taken from the high of the 17th of January. So in a way, this could, all this territory could be a perfect one for a bit of retracement, and if this downside line holds, we could see another round of selling. But again, before we could consider this idea, first all eyes are on the 73.74. Let's see if it holds or not. If it doesn't, then, well, further declines towards the low of the 14th of November could be possible. But if it holds, then, well, I mean, consider maybe a slight correction back to the upside. GBPAUD, quick mentioning of this, I talked about this pair this morning, and basically what I was saying, that to keep an eye on this barrier here, the 1.9225, we managed to get a fantastic break here. That's wonderful. The next target for us is around the 1.9387 zone, which is the high of the 16th of December. Or should I say the intraday swing high of the 16th of December. So for now, like I said, we're going to target only this area, and then we'll take it from there. If it wants to break higher, wonderful. We'll aim for the highest point of the 16th of December, or in other words, actually the highest point of December in general, near the 1.9523. So long story short, basically, guys, yes, given the fact that we've managed to break this barrier here, the 1.9225, that's wonderful for the bulls. So for now, we will aim for the 1.9387. We'll see how it performs around here. In case this decides to correct a little bit lower, as long as it stays above this barrier, above the 1.9225, we will remain bullish. But if it suddenly starts dropping below all this territory, again, for us will be somewhat of a neutral one, and for us to consider a deeper correction to the downside, we will only we'll only consider that after we get a break below the 1.92 zone here. And then again, I mean, and also why I'm saying that it's a correction, because as you can see, we're still above this medium-term upside support line taken from the low of the 29th of July of last year. Is that 29th or is it 30th? 29th of July, there we go. So, or in other words, the lowest point of July, if I'm not mistaken. That's correct. So keep your eyes on this, guys. It's quite an interesting pair right now. If it decides not to travel higher straight, decides not to travel higher straight away, then we may see maybe a bit of a correction here to the downside. But if it pushes higher and breaks the recent high, today's high, and then aim for the 1.9387 zone. USDCAD now, a quick mentioning of this, though this is working out perfectly. I talked about this one last week, and basically what I was saying, that if we get a nice push above this barrier here, the 1.3105, then yes, we will aim for the 1.3174-75 zone. If that gets broken, then yes, the next potential target for us is around the 1.3218. But what I was saying as well, that we may get a bit of a correction and then another push higher. So we did get a nice correction, and this break here, a break above the 1.3174, kind of confirmed in a forthcoming higher high. And yes, we are now aiming for the 1.3218. We'll be very careful around here, because don't forget that overall, let me just show you on the chart, overall we're still below this downside resistance line. Let me just quickly adjust it, and now there we go. Can I catch it? There we go. So basically this downside line, of course, don't get me wrong, it is a bit tentative, but nevertheless we'll keep an eye on it. And you can see that all this area here kind of comes in line perfectly with a potential touch of this downside line, and if it holds, we could see another round of selling. If it fails, well, I mean, we could see a further move higher, and this, more bulls could be joining in here and pushing this one to the upside. For now, from the very short-term perspective, yes, we are aiming for the upside, but again, do not exclude this downside line, and as we could see then something like this happening, where we could see a drift back to the downside. And the last pair for this session is going to be the euro dollar. This morning I talked about this one, and what I was saying that if it stays above the 1.1019 zone, we could see maybe a bit of a correction here to the downside, to the upside. But again, let's not forget that we are in a kind of selling mode right now, so further drifts are possible. Looking at the price action right now, and given the fact that this area here, the 1.1019 level, kind of continues to hold from the short-term perspective, continues to hold the pair from dropping lower. If it continues to do that, we may see something like this, where we could see a bit of correction, a test of this little short-term tentative, very short-term tentative downside resistance line taken from the high of the 16th of January. And if it holds, yes, we could see another round of selling. Now, on the other hand, keep your eyes, of course, on this little territory near the 1.1019. If we get a nice drop, and if we get a nice 4-hour candle close below this, of course, aim for the psychological 110 zone, and then we'll take it from there, see if it actually can hold it or not, because we may see something like this basically happening, where we could see maybe a drop below this 1.1019, a test of the psychological 110 zone, and then a rebound and a push towards this downside line, which if holds, then yes, we could see another round of selling. So for now, guys, you can see that yes, we are still more on the bearish side for today, especially. We are still trading below the pivot. If, like I said, if this drops below the 1.1019 level again, aim for the psychological 110. Of course, the last resort here for the bulls to step in, just to go for in order to push the pair for a bit of correction to the upside, could be around the 1.0980. But again, for now, what we're looking here for is a possible maybe drop below the 1.1019, a test of the psychological 110 zone, and then a rebound back to the this downside line, and then we'll take it from there. If it holds, could be a nice round of selling again, but if it breaks, then, well, I mean, we'll have to reevaluate everything again. I'll see actually if it can travel back towards this other downside line taken from the high of the 31st of December. For now, guys, all eyes are on the on this little area. If it drops below it, then well, yep, consider the 1.10 zone as the next potential area of support, which in a way could hold. So, and then after that, we'll take it from there. But again, like I said, you got the picture. You understand what I mean here, and I hope, like I said, let's see how this is going to play out. We're definitely going to pick up on this one on tomorrow's Traders Espresso and tomorrow morning. So we'll see how it performed. But again, looking at the current trading activity, it seems that it really wants to drift a little bit lower still towards that psychological 110 zone. Let's see if it can do that. Okay, guys, I really hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching until the end. I do apologize for the loss of sound in the beginning of the video, but hopefully now everything went smoothly. Yep, guys, thank you very much for as I said, sticking around and watching it till the end. Please join me tomorrow morning, as always, on Traders Espresso, 7 o'clock GMT time. For now, I hope you have a beautiful evening, guys, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.